Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So in today's video, we are going to be covering 3 things that Social Security beneficiaries should know about in 2024. Plus, we're going to be playing a video of Jim Jordan saying why he believes that the DOJ is corrupt. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you 1 free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so it's 2024 and we're covering this article here by The Motley Fool about what all Social Security retirees need to know about in 2024. So they mentioned the first thing here, of course, that the average benefit this year in 2024 is just $1,907. So the first thing to be aware of is that the average Social Security benefit as of January 2024, and of course this month as well, was just $1,907 per month. That's not a lot of money for most seniors to live on. Your benefit may be above average if your earnings were higher than your fellow Americans for most of your career. On the other hand, if you didn't make a lot of money, your benefit may be lower than the average. Regardless, the fact that the typical senior gets just $1,907 a month illustrates an important point. Social Security should not be your sole source of retirement money. These benefits are only intended to replace about 40% of pre-retirement income, and that's not enough to maintain your living standard. And that's why most people should consider setting up an IRA or maxing out their 401k if they work for an employer, or if possible, even do both. That way they're not relying solely on Social Security, where once again, $1,900 per month is going to be very, very difficult to get by on. Now, the second one here is that the full retirement age for this year is 66 years and 8 months if you're turning 66 this year. So if you're turning 66 this year, there's another important fact to know. Your full retirement age, or the age when you can claim your standard benefit, is 66 years and 8 months. This is 2 months later than the full retirement age of people who turned 66 last year. Full retirement age is changing over time and is based on your birth year. For those who turn 66 next year, it will be 66 years and 10 months. Finally, for those who turn 66 in 2026 and beyond, FRA is set at 67. Reforms to Social Security in 1983 gradually pushed FRA later to shore up Social Security's finances, and unfortunately, this means you must wait until you're 66 years and 8 months old to get your first benefit check if you don't want it reduced by early filing penalties. This can be a disappointment if you had 66 in your head as the age when you plan to claim Social Security. And of course, if you want to receive the maximum benefit, if you're capable of doing so, you can wait all the way until the age of 70, where you can receive 32% more than what you would receive at your full retirement age. And right now in Congress, they're actually talking about pushing the full retirement age from 67 up to either 69 or 70. This would be for younger generations, though, perhaps those who are 40 and below. Now, the third thing that you should know about in 2024, according to The Motley Fool, is that your benefits aren't worth as much as they used to be. So finally, the last thing you should know about inflation is eating away at the value of your benefits. The Senior Citizens League found that benefits have lost 36% of their buying power since 2000. This is despite the fact that the Social Security program has cost of living adjustments built into the program. Unfortunately, those COLAs are calculated by using a formula that looks at price increases on goods and services used by urban wage earners and clerical workers. As a result, it underestimates the inflations that seniors actually experience. What's more, COLAs have often fallen short in recent years because inflation has continued to surge after the COLA went into effect for the year. In 2024, for example, seniors saw their checks increase by 3.2%. However, April's inflation data showed prices up 3.4% year over year, and March's data showed a 3.5% year over year increase. And of course, that's not to mention that they've really kind of rigged the inflation formula over the years to make it seem like we haven't actually had as much inflation as we actually are. For example, back in like the 1980s, they were using like a really good quality steak to measure the inflation increases year over year. How much has that really good quality steak increased by? And now they're comparing that same really good quality steak to something that's just like in the freezer or something like that. So obviously it's one way to sort of rig the figure, among other things. And so, there's some arguments out there that inflation this past year was really like 10 or 11%, as opposed to what they're really saying it was, which was like right around 3 to 4%. Now, in some other news, of course, Jim Jordan absolutely ripped into Merrick Garland. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
The chair is now recognized for an opening statement. Justice is no longer blind in America. Today it's driven by politics. Example number one is President Trump. Bonnie Willis opens an investigation into President Trump in February of 2021, but doesn't bring charges until after he announces he's running for president. Alvin Bragg said, quote, "I could not see a world in which I would indict Trump and call Mr. Cohen as a prosecution witness." But that's exactly what he did after President Trump announced he was running for president. And the Attorney General names Jack Smith special counsel 3 days after President Trump announces he's running for president. 4 months earlier, before Jack Smith is named as special counsel, the Biden Justice Department, under Attorney General Garland, approved a raid on President Trump's home, something we've never witnessed in this great country. This action broke every norm in our justice system. Don't take my word for it. Former Assistant Director in charge of the Washington Field Office of the FBI, Stephen D'Antuono, said this in his deposition to our committee. 4 standard processes were not followed. The Washington Field Office ran that raid, not the Miami Field Office. The operation was run out of headquarters, not from an assigned U.S. Attorney's office, as is customary. The FBI didn't seek consent before doing the raid, and the FBI refused to wait for President Trump's attorneys to be present before the search was conducted. And there's Jay Bratt. Mr. Bratt's on the special counsel team. He met with Biden White House officials multiple times, including just weeks before Jack Smith indicts former President Trump. But what's most troubling is what Mr. Bratt did to Stanley Woodward. Mr. Woodward represents one of the defendants in the documents case. He was summoned by Mr. Bratt to department headquarters. At the meeting, Mr. Bratt informed Stanley Woodward, if your guy flips, if your client changes, it could help your chances for that judgeship you are interested in. Unbelievable. And of course, there's the fact that Jack Smith changed the sequence of the documents he seized in the raid of the president's home. Had to file this with the judge and with the court. The physical documents don't match the scanned documents. Many people call this tampering with evidence. Jack Smith mishandled the very documents he charged President Trump with mishandling. Remember what Special Counsel Hur found. On page 1 of his report, he said this, President Biden knowingly kept classified information. President Biden knowingly disclosed classified information. And then on page 231, he told us why President Biden did it. Page 231, quote, Joe Biden had strong motivations for ignoring the procedures for classified information because he was writing a book for which he got paid $8 million. President Trump gets charged for allegedly mishandling documents, but Jack Smith can mishandle documents, no problem. Joe Biden can mishandle documents, no problem. Never forget, this is the same Department of Justice who made David Weiss the special counsel in the Hunter Biden case. After Mr. Weiss spent 4.5 years investigating President Biden's son and had the sweetheart deal he took to the court laughed out of court, he gets named special counsel. This is the same Department of Justice whose Civil Rights Division has done nothing to address the attacks on Jewish students at college campuses. This is the same Department of Justice who can't tell us who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, who leaked the Dobbs draft opinion, and who put cocaine in the White House. And this is the same Department of Justice who told us in a memo from the Attorney General himself that moms and dads at school board meetings should be investigated, Same Department of Justice who said pro-life Catholics are extremists. The same Department of Justice who censored Americans. And the same Department of Justice who retaliated against whistleblowers who came to this committee and told us about these wrongdoings. So, Mr. Garland, we're glad you're here today. We've got lots of questions. Many Americans believe there's now a double standard in our justice system. They believe that because there is. And we're going to have lots of questions about that problem.
So leave your thoughts and comments below. Do you believe that Jim Jordan is telling the truth there? Do you agree with everything that Jim Jordan is saying? Leave your thoughts and comments below, but that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.